Hello, I am Mr. Fixit from Yes Repair. Microsoft has released Windows 10's November 2019 feature update version 1909. Now, this round of updates is small compared to the previous 1903 feature update that provided major update changes to Windows 10. Now, this feature update focuses on performance improvements, Windows 10 enterprise features, and quality enhancements. The update is being delivered in a less disruptive manner using servicing technology. It's similar to how you receive monthly updates. Now, for users running the previous 1903 version who choose to update to the 1909 update, this will allow the update to be installed much faster than before. However, if you are running Windows prior to 1903, then when you install 1909 features update, it will go as through the normal process. Now, the Windows 1909 feature update is an optional update. It's not something that's critical that you would have to have, but it does make some improvements in your computer. The following are new features that are being introduced as part of this update. Original equipment manufacturers will now be able to reduce the inking latency based on the hardware's capabilities of their devices, rather than being stuck with the latency selected on typical hardware configuration by the operating system. The latency is referred to the time it takes from the moment you move the pen to the moment it appears on the screen. You may have noticed at times where the ink on the screen is just behind the pen's location as you move the pen. That is the result of latency. The lower the latency, the better. Now, for some of you who do not use Cortana but also use a third party digital assistant like Alexa on Windows 10, this update will enable your third party digital assistants to voice activate above the lock screen. The next thing they've added is when you go to your calendar, you're going to now notice that you have a slot here to where you could just select a date, type in what you want to be reminded. You'll see a color that is developed, the time that you could choose, and the location. And then you can choose save. Once it's saved, you'll see it pop up down here below, and this will allow you to see when that date is. You're going to also notice that when you click the Windows logo, and you're going to see these icons pop up right above it. Now, what they've done is they've added a navigation pane. So when you hover one of the icons, it will slide out and show you in description as to what exactly that icon represents. Another thing they've added, they did add the manage notifications up here at the top, so you can easily go to the settings page without having to go through all settings. You're going to also notice that each of these notifications are going to have a new option to where you can go to the notifications, or you can turn off all notifications for that particular app or browser. Now, this also shows up on the banner. When you get that little notification that pops up, you also get the same options with that banner. Next thing they've changed is when you go to the options, you're going to see the name of the application. They did add some pictures to show you more detail as to what each one's talking about. Like, for instance, this says notification for banners, which refers these little pop-up notices. And then this one here represents what's in the Action Center. Now, another thing they did change is you can also now adjust the sound with the notification. If you don't want it to play sound, you can come into this and just turn the sound off. The next update they did is they changed the way that the sort of the senders come. Now, instead of doing it by name for the senders, now it's going to do it by the most recent for each sender. So this will make it easier to find and configure frequent and recent senders. Now, they did also add a setting to turn off playing the sound with notifications appear, which you'll see right here. And you can also change it individually between applications. Now, Microsoft did add some additional debugging capabilities for newer Intel processors, and this is only relevant to the hardware manufacturers. Now, if you're using a laptop or some kind of a battery for your computer, like you see here, this is using a backup unit. So if the power goes out, then my UPS will kick in and continue to power the battery. Now, Microsoft did make some improvements to the battery life and power efficiency to the computer for certain processors. So if you're get a laptop or a desktop that uses battery power, then the changes that they made. It depends on the processor, but I don't have a list as which processors this has evolved. But they did make some changes to affect those. Now, with many computers nowadays with multi-core processors, the new update will help balance the workload on these types of processors. Now, many processors have multiple favored cores. Now, these are the type of cores that are logical processors that have the highest available scheduling class. They're very, very fast. Now, Microsoft has implemented a rotation policy that distributes the work more fairly among these favored cores to provide better performance and reliability. The search box in File Explorer, which you see up here in the upper right, is now adjustable. And depending on what you need of the space, you can completely change the size of the space needed. Now, they also made it where it is powered by Windows Search, and this will help integrate your OneDrive content online with the traditional indexed results. You can also change the size of the search box as I showed here. Anytime that you start typing in it, it will start showing up some results of everything that you've indexed. This comes in handy to make it more easy for you to find things, and then all you have to do is just click on it and you're opening the file. In the 1903 update, Narrator did go through a lot of changes, a lot of improvements. The 1909 update here did make some new changes. It gave Narrator the ability um, and other assistive technologies the ability to read and learn where the FN key is located on the keyboards and what state it is in, whether it's locked or unlocked. So as you can see, this update feature was pretty small. As I said, it is an optional update. You don't have to install it. It it was mostly focused with Windows Enterprise, but it does have some minor adjustments and improvements that you can still use if you want to go ahead and install it. Now, the next feature update that they're going to do it's going to be in May 2020. So I do have that video up. So be sure to go ahead and check that out. And it's going to show you all the changes it's going to have featured in Windows 10. Well, I'm your host, Mr. Fixit. Be sure to subscribe to the channel to receive the most latest updates to Windows 10. There are some new changes they're going to be making. I'm going to be doing some videos to show you some other things that's coming to Windows 10. So be sure to check on that subscribe button to stay tuned and be alerted when the video uploads. Well, I'm your host, Mr. Fixit. Thank you for watching.